The film begins in a hospital setting, where a spirited doctor is perplexed as to why his proficiency in radiology is being utilized on a patient who has merely sustained a bite wound. He instructs Anna to find the young man and provide him with the necessary information. Anna approaches the information desk, where she learns that the patient, despite having supposedly minor injuries, is in the intensive care unit. After fulfilling the doctor's request, Anna heads home, her journey accompanied by the tunes from her cassette deck to her suburban lifestyle. She and Louise settle down for an evening of reality TV, sharing their experiences of the day, and thus bringing their date night to a satisfying conclusion. The following morning, at the crack of dawn, their peace is disrupted by an inquisitive Vivian who seems to have a peculiar interest in the taste of human flesh. The day begins quite abruptly, as Anna discovers that the emergency line is jam-packed, and Louise is resigned to the fact that she will have to dedicate her entire weekend to washing the bedding. Louise suddenly finds renewed energy and insists on having breakfast, compelling Anna to retreat to the bathroom. However, once inside, an unsettling silence prevails. Anna softly calls out to her partner, only to be met with a violent outburst as he bursts through the door, causing her to flee through the window. Outside, chaos reigns supreme, and Anna is unable to gather any information about the situation. In any case, it's evident that the world is on the brink of destruction. Consequently, she yearns to spend her final moments in a serene setting. With this intention, she drives off, and as the camera pans out, we see Racine County engulfed in flames. She stops to take in the sight and is confronted by a city worker, leading to her tumbling into a ravine, a chilling start to the story. As the credits roll, a narrator outlines the basic premise, which is familiar ground for us by now. Anna steps into a transformed world where her voice serves as her identification, signifying the intact functioning of her human brain. Under Kenneth's guidance, the protagonist embarks on a quest to find a place of safety, uncertain of where that haven may lie. Along their journey, they chance upon another group of survivors, and an unsteady alliance forms among them, resembling a collective of individuals striving to endure amidst the chaos. Recognizing the value of shared information, they exchange vital knowledge to aid in making informed decisions about their future course of action. Despite the challenges they face, the group manages to gain access to the coveted location, narrowly escaping danger. To their relief, they discover that the essential utilities within the building are still operational, granting them a sense of fortune in this grim reality. With their sights set on penetrating deeper into the sterile inner sanctum, Michael assumes a leadership role, providing guidance and instructions. However, Kenneth, possessing an independent spirit, refuses to be led and decides to forge his own path alongside Andre. In the meantime, Michael secures a fresh weapon and investigates the strange noises emanating from the janitor's closet. He takes care of the situation, but the sounds of the conflict reverberate throughout the building, awakening some dormant individuals. This necessitates collective action to navigate an uncertain situation. Regrettably, the second floor is occupied by territorial security guards, intent on maintaining their private sanctuary. They eventually agree to a truce on the condition of disarmament, after which everyone gets updated on the local news. They receive bits of information, learning about headshots, but remain in a predicament where potential bites are dismissed as minor injuries. Fort Pastor is declared as the rendezvous point, with Kenneth's primary goal being to reunite with his brother there. Michael starts to take on a leadership role again, offering CJ valuable suggestions and praising his foresight when they are put into action. In the process of securing the area, they encounter Old Ben, a former member of their group. They experiment with a theory on zombies, which proves effective and is widely used against indoor zombies. Concurrently, the rest of the group paints a distress signal on the roof and makes contact with Andy, a local gun shop owner. Their discussion is interrupted by a passing gunship, which doesn't offer any help, confirming that no assistance is forthcoming. During the planning phase, Michael takes the lead again, leading Andre to question his qualifications. However, Michael's top 10% ranking in COD silences any doubts. Ken, on the other hand, is not interested in plotting, as his sole focus is on finding his brother. Meanwhile, CJ works hard to keep his group under control and is eager to learn more. When the timers start, everyone wakes up, and Terry is chosen to turn off the music. On their way, Anna manages to get them released by pointing out that the bathrooms are merely decorative. This release allows Andre and Ken to have a meaningful conversation about fatherhood in the bathroom, with Andre expressing his desire to be a different kind of father for his child. As Terry turns off the switch, he notices on the monitors that they have incoming company. When the survivors arrive, the initial plan was to let the truckers perish, but CJ fails to realize that his only ally is Bart, indicating that he's on the wrong side. To get the guns out of their faces, they change their strategy. They guide the truck from above, and the driver takes a moment to reverse it. When no one tries to enter, the group ventures out to help, only to find a communication breakdown. The cabsters are fleeing to the roof, while the remaining survivors are ready at the loading dock. As the newcomers are welcomed and accounted for, it's revealed that they came from the church via Fort Pastor, which is in ruins. Despite this, Ken is more determined to go there to see for himself. Steve's input isn't helpful, but Ken finds a new hobby along the way. He hopes for daily news updates and forms a pen-pal relationship, which distracts him from his brother. Back in the medical ward, they ponder over an infection without fever, but the woman soon dies. However, her death isn't the end, as she still craves and forces Anna to break her oath. From personal experiences, they deduce that the bites cause people to die and return with hunger, prompting a reassessment of the refugees. As they decide who to isolate and where, Michael boldly suggests they should quarantine in hell. Anna disagrees with his approach and informs Frank, who's been bitten, about the plan. This seems harsh as Frank can now anticipate his fate. Accepting his destiny, Frank bids farewell to his daughter Nicole. He starts to feel the effects of the bite, and to confirm their theory, they allow him to turn into a zombie first. With this new understanding, they try to return to normalcy for a while, engaging in activities like chess, self-discovery, and bonding as a community. They invent new games, such as identifying zombie impersonators for Andy to eliminate. Meanwhile, Luda's pregnancy progresses, but Andre becomes increasingly secretive and tense about it, rejecting any help offered. Later on, as the group continues their journey, they confront the sobering reality that forming connections with others carries the inevitable risk of exposing the heart-wrenching truth about their deceased children. Just as this realization sets in, the lights abruptly go out, enveloping them in darkness. Amidst the shadows, it becomes evident that Andre remains unwavering in his determination to fulfill his role as a father. He diligently ensures the safety of Luda, who is barely clinging to life, preparing her for the impending delivery. At the same time, Michael is guided towards the generators, while Ken steps forward to assume a leadership position, drawing from his extensive prior experience with someone named Jenny. As they navigate their way towards level 3, a sense of unease takes hold when Bart becomes increasingly agitated by unfamiliar noises and fleeting movements. Eventually, they discover that their source of concern is nothing more than a loyal and vigilant dog whose earnest warnings go unheeded, much to Bart's detriment. Surprisingly, this oversight inadvertently works to their advantage, as the dog becomes a tempting and satisfying distraction, diverting the attention of the approaching horde. Although their ammunition is limited, they manage to make the most of their resources. They douse the horde in petrol, causing them to succumb and dissolve like melting candles. The satisfaction of this triumph fading, they eventually make their way back to the labor room, where Andre bears witness to the heartbreaking moment when his beloved partner takes her final breath. It's a sorrowful situation, but he discovers that his baby is still alive. Luda comes back to him, and it's time for a natural miracle to unfold. He tries to apply the bite strap for the next phase, and soon he has to get ready for the birth. Just then, Lorna thinks it's a good idea to check on them since they haven't heard from Luda in a while. She finds out that they've been living in poor conditions and that Andre's new joy is a girl. Lorna is practical about the situation, but Andre is upset with her interference in his family matters. As a result, he reacts violently towards her. She dies peacefully without being bitten. Following the shock of zombie babies, the group decides that waiting for death is worse than death itself, prompting them to take action. Michael suggests fixing up some buses he spotted in the garage, while Steve humorously proposes escaping to an island. If the island is deserted, it could be a viable option. They start modifying their vehicles for urban warfare using parts from the mall. However, they're running low on ammunition and hope they won't encounter too many zombies. Andy, who's supposed to replenish their supplies, is weakening. The group decides to get him some supplies to keep him fit and ready. Despite the challenge, they realize that zombies ignore animals and prefer human flesh. Consequently, Chips easily reaches Andy's stronghold. There's a close call at the door, but he manages to close it and appears to be in high spirits. Then, in a poignant turn of events, Andre ensures that he won't face his final moments in solitude. Nicole, consumed by overwhelming grief, becomes frantic, and impulsively drives the box truck to the gun shop. Despite making it inside, Andy's health deteriorates and he suffers a stroke on the roof. Before long, Nicole's distress calls catch his attention. Thankfully, she manages to find a hiding place. However, this turn of events necessitates swift and perilous action to protect Nicole and the firearms. Dependable Steve volunteers to remain behind, guarding the door until their return. Their plan involves utilizing the advantage of the third dimension, approaching their objective from below. Although their strategy proves effective, their meticulousness inadvertently alerts the nearby horde to their presence. They valiantly fend off the horde, and even Ken squeezes his robust frame through a small opening. Once they gather the guns and commence their search for Nicole, Andy's keen observation quickly leads them to her whereabouts. When it's time to retreat, CJ contributes his own idea by triggering a diversion, then rushing down to meet the rest of the group. They all hurriedly descend into a hole, but Tucker injures his leg along the way. CJ equips him with dual firearms and attempts to assist him through the passage, but Tucker eventually succumbs to his injuries. Meanwhile, as Siege catches up with the group, they experience tense moments of waiting, realizing that Steve is no longer guarding the door. Andy remains vigilant, providing support to the others. However, due to the changed circumstances, they are forced to expedite their exit plan immediately. As it turns out, there was a misunderstanding. Because Steve was actually checking on the buses, they burst out of the mall, trying to navigate through the thick crowd, but it proves challenging. CJ takes the initiative to thin out the crowd with a propane shot. From this point on, it's mostly smooth sailing, though they need to deal with one remaining straggler, offering Glenn an opportunity to contribute. The leading shuttle reverses while Steve, in the back of the group, decides to go solo, which quickly proves to be a mistake. They rescue the remaining survivors, unfortunately having to kill Steve in the process, and make their way back to the shuttle. Now it's a relaxed drive to the marina, where they dock and unload. However, there's another horde waiting there, and when CJ tries to buy them some time, he becomes trapped. He resorts to a strategy that has become his trademark by this point. As they prepare to leave, Michael shares the unfortunate news about his impending fate as a human. He chooses to stay behind, enjoying the sunrise, and concluding his existence as they sadly sail away to an unknown island. And with that, the movie ends. I hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for amazing videos. See you in the next one.